All right, so we're starting our graphing quadratics here. So quadratics is it's going to make a parabola. So it's going to look like a U shape or an N shape. So it's parabola, so that's the way that it looks. And so when you graph a parabola, the U shape, there's an axis of symmetry. Symmetry meaning the same thing that it's always meant for you since probably 4th grade. Remember, you can fold it over and it lays on top of each other, or a mirror. The vertex is either the maximum or minimum point, okay? And so it reaches a certain height or a certain low, and then starts going back up or down. And we're going to graph it. So let's look here at what this y equals negative x squared minus 4x plus 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the axis of symmetry. Remember that for a quadratic, standard is ax squared plus bx plus c. So the number that's in front of x squared is a, the number in front of x is b, and the number in front of c, the constant is just c. So we are going to plug it into this axis symmetry formula. You will get that on your formula chart, so you don't have to worry about that. And we have a negative b. So b is going to be negative 4 because these are plus signs and it's a minus. So negative 4, and then a is negative 1. Again, a is positive here, so since this is a negative, a is negative 1. So I have negative 4 divided by 2 times negative 1. And so notice that that's the x value. We have 4 divided by negative 2, which ends up giving me a negative 2. So the x part of my axis of symmetry is negative 2. And so then I can plug that into my equation to find the vertex, to find the y part. So the vertex lies on the axis of symmetry. Now I'm going to plug negative 2 in and replace that for x in my equation. So I have y is equal to negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 5. You're going to plug it into your calculator just like that. And so whenever you plug that in, plugging it in just like you see it, it is going to give you 9. So the vertex is going to be negative 2. Where did I get negative 2 from? My axis of symmetry, x. Then my y is 9. So negative 2, 9 is the vertex. Now I'm going to graph my quadratic. So I know that negative 2, 9 starts here. So you might want to go in and plug this into your calculator and look at the table and find some more points. So what I do when I go and I'm going to graph this or look at a good graph and get some points, I'm going to put negative 2, 9 here. I'll do negative 3, negative 4, negative 1, and 0 here to give me a good idea of what's going to look like on each side of my vertex. And then that way I can kind of go in and graph it from there. So I end up here with 5 and 8 for negative 4 and negative 3, and then negative 1 is 8 and 0 is 5. So notice if you start looking at that table, as you start working your way away from your vertex, they start mirroring each other. So I kind of call that my mirror point, and that's my vertex. So you can kind of sort of see that based on the table. And so here, so I have those points plotted. If you want to plot a few more to get a better look at it, you certainly can. But this is what it's going to look like. So this is the parabola. It's turned upside down, so it looks like an N. Sometimes they're facing upwards, so it looks like a U. So that is basically graphing quadratics in a nutshell. Main thing is finding the axis of symmetry and then finding the vertex. So make sure that you are able to do each one of these as we continue on. So that's introduction, graphing quadratics, parabolas, maximum, minimums, vertex, axis of symmetry, all of that wrapped into one.